Hey guys, it's Marty and welcome to Two Line Slot Cars. This week, we're going to start the Land Barge chassis build. This is a 64 Galaxie. I'm building it for the Home Racing World Land Barge Proxy. It will, in the end, be a NASCAR race car. I'm still working on the livery. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet, but we're getting down on the crunch time, guys, so I got to get started on this chassis. So this is part one of maybe 3 or 4 on this chassis build. And so let's dig into it. I put this in as in high speed because soldering is probably pretty boring for most everyone. But basically, I've pinned the motor bracket, and now I'm soldering the bearings and trying to make that work the best I can. I am really struggling with the soldering iron. The tip's okay. It's only a 25 watt, and I really don't think it's getting hot enough to allow the solder to flow with the flux. Always clean the tip, keep that clean, make sure everything is laying flat. I've got it pinned well. As you can see, I've got the front. That's just a reference. I've got it pinned down just so I know how long that chassis needs to be. It was just helping me understand what I was doing. It comes into play here a little later. So we're going to let that cool and take a look at that motor bracket. It looks like we've done a very sloppy job of soldering, but I think we got it to hold. Let's let it cool and we'll take a look. Okay, now we've got the motor bracket done and the axle moves freely. I've got it pinned down. Let's keep the motor on. I want to keep it square. So I got it pinned. It's square on the board. I put the motor on it. This is just a junk motor. It's a Thunderslot motor, but it's a junk motor. So I've got it on there just so I know from a spacing standpoint. I've got the front axle pinned where it needs to be based on the body so that the wheelbase, the wheels line up where I want them to. Feel pretty good about where those are landing. Yeah. So I feel like we made some headway here. So now I need to decide with this motor bracket, what am I going to do? I have square tubing that I could use as the rails. And then I also have some piano wire that I could use. I feel like that could be quite a bit of flex. I don't know. I could use a combination of both. I could use the copper tubing up top for the front and cut it short and join with piano wire so that it sort of moves inside that. That might be a little too much slop right there in that square tubing, but probably fits this really well. Yeah. The smaller. So then I could actually have I could control it, but I could have some movement, sort of like a pod. That's an option. So that's where I'm at. And so maybe I need to call this part 1. This is why I'm struggling. It's because I really don't exactly know how I want to tackle this. So decisions. So now I'm putting the front end together. And let's see. I need to hold this down. Again, just basic soldering, using flux, heating up the brass, letting it flow, all the basics. Again, so really struggling with the soldering iron. It is definitely not getting hot enough to make the solder flow as well as I'd like. So I'll probably end up resoldering this after I get my new soldering iron. But you can see the solder flow, but it just was not heating as well as it could. I spent a lot of time cleaning that soldering iron, trying to keep that tip maintained. Yeah, I was struggling. Okay, guys, this is still a challenge for me. I have to admit, but I'm trying something. I'm making it so that the motor pod can move through these rails, so that I can get the wheelbase perfect, and then I can either solder that piano wire into the tubes, or I can create some type of floating motor pod. And so I'm still working on that design, but it's not perfectly soldered. I really think I'm having problems with my soldering iron. My tip is a mess. Although it's clean and does a good job of soldering, I really think that when I apply it to the brass, I'm losing a bunch of heat. It is a cheap soldering iron, so I ordered a new soldering iron so that I can finish this up, and we're going to go from there. But now I just need to clean this chassis so that it doesn't corrode like crazy, and we should be good to go. So we're not finished. We're not even close to being finished, but I learned a lot tonight by attempting to solder this chassis. It really made me think about how the layout is going to be. And I think I'm going to roll with this sliding chassis piece. If I end up just soldering it together, just to make sure I get the wheelbase exactly perfect, that'll be fine. But if I can figure out how to make it float a little bit, that would be pretty cool. So that's what we're going to do. So this is part 1 of part 2 or 3 on putting this land barge, the 64 Galaxie, together. But, here we are halfway through June, and I have yet to get this painted, and the Proxy is a month away. So I've got a lot of work to do. So let's see if we can get some of this done this weekend, and I'll report back next week. So, guys, if you like this kind of content, you want to learn about scratch building, watch George's videos or Harry's videos or Shotgun Dave's videos. I'm not sure I'd watch mine, but I'm learning, right? And that's what it makes this hobby fun. That's what makes this process of scratch building a lot of fun, because I'm learning every step of the way. I'm just not great at soldering. So, but guys, if you like this kind of content, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, hit the bell so you get notified anytime I put out new content. And there's probably going to be a lot of content around this land barge, because it's going to be a slow process. So, guys, enjoy your weekend and go have some fun racing.